Hey everybody, it's your girl Latanya Moore coming to you for Thursday training. I told you we are going to be talking today about ways to avoid becoming famous Amos. So as you know, I posted in a group and I was asking if anyone knows what happened to Famous Amos. Of course, you still see the cookies. So a lot of people think, well, he's still here. And technically he is still here, right? Because he's still, from what I can tell, I haven't seen differently. But the biggest challenge with what happened is, just like a lot of entrepreneurs now, he had a great product, a great idea. And for those of you that don't know the original story, and I'll make this quick, is his initial backers were Marvin Gaye and Helen Reddy. Marvin Gaye. So he used to be a talent scout or a talent agent. And so he actually, hey Kenya, hey Lakia. So he actually knew lots of famous people, apparently, because he got Marvin Gaye and Helen Reddy to be one of his initial investors for the startup of his business. So that's how he got started, right? So he definitely understands the industry and all of that. So he had all of that. He had these great cookies, just to kind of give you an idea, right? Because he actually founded the company in 1975, right? He got into some financial troubles, didn't have the right people on his team. Hey, Deani, didn't have the right people on his team. Got into some financial trouble. The company needed about $1 million, right? Yes, Clarine. Yes. I'm encouraging everybody. I need you guys to go all the way back and you got to research that story, because it is one of the tragedies of entrepreneurship. Literally, it is one of the tragedies. And one of the main objectives is that you never want to be in a position where you are a prostitute of your own brand. Because unfortunately, that's what ended up happening. That's where he ended up. He took on investors. Eventually, he was pushed out because the company was just not doing well. He ended up losing the company, and the company has been sold about 5 or 6 times. I think Keebler or somebody has been one of the more recent owners, and they asked him about coming back and helping to promote and do promotional tours for the brand. Now think about this. Somebody else owns your name. They own your brand. Clearly they own your recipe. When you got pushed out, you couldn't even use it. Not only could you not use it, you created a totally different cookie. And you went to get a trademark under Uncle Amos, and the company that has your own brand decided that they were going to contest your trademark. Hurts, right? So what I'm saying to you is this: you have to really understand that if your goal is that your business is going to grow like into this empire, because I talk to countless entrepreneurs, I talk to countless people like that are legit visionaries. Okay, like they are legit visionaries. People can't hold a candle to them, but you gotta understand the business and the legalities of everything. Hey, Ina. And the legalities of everything, right? You got to understand that, because those are going to be the things that's going to make your business go under. Just like Famous Amos, he had a great product, clearly, right? Name recognition. People are still talking about Famous Amos Cookies, right? But somebody else owns that name. And so I'm going to speed up to owner number 5, which is Keebler. They offered him the opportunity to come back and kind of be the face of the brand, like a brand ambassador. And he would be able to use his name, his own name, in some items. But, of course, they couldn't be competitive items, right? He goes to Keebler. He says, okay, well, this sounds good. You know, they made him an offer that allegedly, you know, at the time, he couldn't he couldn't refuse. So he goes to Keebler, he tests the product, and it is disgusting, right? The quality is horrible. There are other things about it that they had made some changes to the recipe. They had made some changes with regard to the type of this or that they use, which of course the recipe creator was going to know that it was different. He sits down with them and tells them, well, I can't back this product because these are the things that's wrong with it. Now, I could really stop there and just get in a pulpit and preach. Okay? I mean, real talk. It was already bad enough that he lost everything. Not just the business. He lost the name. He lost the name. And then he couldn't even use it. Like and then they changed the recipe. It was disgusting. And then he told them how to fix it. I just don't believe, nobody can make me believe, not even Amos himself, that Mr. Amos, I'll say, that he got any type of real compensation for that, or the compensation that he should have gotten for telling them how to fix it. I mean, realistically, I don't know that I would have cared, though, if it was nasty. I mean, it's not his brand. That may sound ugly, right? But I'm just saying. But it shows how committed we are to that thing, to that idea, to that baby that we birthed. I mean, imagine birthing a baby and somebody just takes it. Yes, Kelly, a whole sad, hot mess of a story. Okay, I know that's right, Kenya. I would not have said anything. I would have let those cookies go out tasting like tar. I sure would have, because at the end of the day, I didn't tell y'all to change it, right? And why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because this is a powerful moment. It's a historical moment, but it is a powerful moment for entrepreneurs. But because of the crisis, I want to make sure that you guys are not getting in a position of desperation, right? Because listen, when there is perceived scarcity, and I'm saying perceived because it's not, when there's a situation that there is crisis, we tend to kind of hunker down, and we'll do anything, right, to just survive, because we've now been thrown into survival mode. I want you to not be Famous Amos, which is why I'm encouraging you guys to go back and read about this story, okay, just to see how things unfolded. It was horrible, okay? It was horrible what happened with him, and it was very, very, very sad. Depending on if you look at kind of what's going on now, like he feels that, okay, this has come full circle. I'm still advocating for the brand. And you know what? I commend that. I really do. I commend that. I do. But one of the major pitfalls for, hey, Leroy, one of the major pitfalls for entrepreneurs is that we are huge visionaries. We are huge visionaries, right? We see the big picture, but we don't really stand up or sit down and calculate what we need from a detail standpoint, right? We don't think about the details. All we think about is the vision. That's what we want to see. Clarine says, I would have objected as well. Not everyone knows the backstory and could have associated the nasty recipe to him. I buy the cookies now thinking I'm supporting him. Absolutely. Absolutely. I understand. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand him objecting. I understand. I agree with Clarine. I would have objected, but I'm going to be honest, Clarine, and honest with all of you in this group that see this. Ain't no way in Hades I would have told him how to fix it. I would have just said, look, because here's the thing. Remember, they had the original recipe. You had the original recipe. But what happened was they decided that they wanted to tweak the recipe to maximize profit. See, what people don't understand, and listen, my cooks are in the house. I think I saw Ina in here, and I know she's a cook. If you use a certain brand, a certain product brand in your recipe, right? If you change that brand from something else, something subpar, the taste is going to change. If you use one type of flour in the original recipe, and this is what the marketplace is expecting, when you make that change, you're going to be able, they're going to know it. They are going to know that this has been changed. Hey, Karan, they're going to know that this has been changed. See, one of the, let me tell you something. And ladies, especially those of us natural sisters, right? You know, when you start using this product and the product, it does, like, this is the thing, right? Now it is a part of your soul. And then the next thing that you know, a couple of months later, right, it gets very popular. And then you start buying it 6 or 8 months down the road and you realize, well, this is not the same. This says it's the same thing, but it's not doing my hair the same. You know why? Because oftentimes they start off with high quality product, which again makes their base price and makes their cost higher. And then they will start to go with subpar products to maximize profits. Okay? They'll do that. So at the end of the day, the consumer will always know. I realize that. This is why I always say, whatever it is you're going to do, stick with it. Don't change. Right? Don't change your recipe. Okay? And the point that I'm trying to make with regard to this is they had the original recipe because they got it from Amos. So they could have just gone back to the original recipe. Now, I would have told them, look, this is nasty. Y'all, you really need to go back to the original recipe. You need to use the brands that I had in the original recipe. That is going to be the only thing that is going to bring this product back up to the right quality. Hey, Kimberly. Okay? Exactly. Like Karan says, everything changes with mass production. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and I know Kenya's on here as well. And they know that is always the big thing. When you go from doing it yourself to mass production, but a lot changes. But here's the thing. That is why the exact ingredients are even more important. Right? You want to keep that taste the same. Like Clarine was saying, she still buys the cookies because she thinks that she's supporting him. Listen, you are supporting Keebler or some other company. If Keebler has sold it off by now, that is who you are actually supporting. That is who you're actually supporting. Not to say that you don't want to support Keebler or anyone like that, but just understand that a lot of these brands that you used to think, right, it was them, it's no longer them. Yes, mass production almost killed Carol's daughter. Let me talk about that. Let me shift, because this is really important, right? When you get a product, you have to think about sustainability, right? Can you handle the amount of orders? Like, everybody wants to get big. They want to mass produce. They want to do all of this, but they haven't counted the cost that it's going to take to do this. And the cost is not just dollars and cents. There is a cost to quality, right? So Kenya says, wait a minute. That's why we won't turn it over to anyone else. They all want to change everything because it would be cheaper and make the profit margin better. Absolutely. Welcome to business, baby. Welcome to business. And as an entrepreneur, let me tell you something. If you don't want your recipe diluted, but you know that you need to make money, at the end of the day, you may need to be positioning your brand for a buyout. Right? You may need to be positioning your brand for a nice buyout so you can go and do something else. Because you definitely are not going to be able to be in the same market. But yes, like Kelly said, Carol's daughter went downhill as far as quality. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because first of all, they went to mass production. Second of all, I would have to further research this, but my understanding is either they partnered with somebody else, because remember, everything in business is really about profits. Sometimes, well, let me say this. Well, no, I'm just going to say it like this. Sometimes people compromise quality for profits. Lisa from Carol's daughter said there was no way she could continue to produce to meet the demand. Eventually she sold, but retained some control. Okay. I knew that I'd heard something about that. So again, that's something else that'll happen sometime. You'll have a larger company that will buy out a smaller company, but they will keep the original person on as like the figurehead or the CEO. So then you then run the company that is owned by someone else. Let me tell you why you gotta make the best decision for yourself, because in a situation like that, she was either gonna go under or she was gonna sell and still be a part. So that she was going to bring in a partner. Let me say this, bring in a partner, bring in an investor, whatever that situation is, to still be a part of the original brand. Okay? These are all decisions that you have to make. Listen, if you are, they tried a multi-member partnership, but it was an issue of too many hands in the pot. Listen, I understand. I take my cool millions and let you go on and fight that fight. I sure would. You do whatever it is that you need to do. But I think this also does go back to Clarine's point that people will start to say, well, the quality is not that good and all of these things. And they'll start looking at you because they feel like, well, this is your company or this is your brand. Again, you have to ask yourself, what's most important, right? Profitability or nothing. Because if you can't keep up with demand, well, let me say this. What's worse? Is it worse that, and I'm not answering the question, I'm just throwing it out there. Is it worse that people say, well, the quality is not as good, but I still use the product? Or the product is not available and they went out of business because they just couldn't keep up with demand. Let me tell y'all, I had a consultation with someone who they had a product that was in a big box store. Now, this particular big box store is well known for gouging. Even big companies, like they are well known for gouging. They'll buy 25,000 units, but they want you to give them 25,000 units free. Right? So some of you lawyers and business folks probably know who this brand is, this big box store. So anyway, what happened was this person couldn't keep up. They couldn't keep up. And instead of connecting with the manufacturer, they decided that they were going to kind of go back to what they were doing before, like selling their product out of their storefront. And that's it. They weren't going to try to deal in a big box. So by the time I connected with them, someone referred them to me. And by the time I connected with them, they had resolved themselves to do that. They were just like, look, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. You got to think about when you get to the point where you want to go with these big box stores, you need to understand the position that you're putting yourself in. You're putting yourself in a position to have to meet the demand. So before you even do that, you need to properly plan. Okay, how much capacity do we have now? Right? Because can you meet the minimum capacity that they're going to require and service your other clients? That's a question you have to answer. Hey, Georgette, if the answer is no, then you don't say we don't do it. What you say is, what will it take? What will it take to be able to maintain and grow, but also be able to service this client? What will it take? You have to answer that question for yourself. And once you know what it takes, what do you need to get that thing that it's going to take? So we have to think this thing all the way through. I don't believe that Amos thought this thing all the way through. I believe he had a great product, like a lot of entrepreneurs. He was friendly with the people with the money, and they gave it to him, like a lot of entrepreneurs. He had the swag, right, from being in the industry, like a lot of entrepreneurs. But what didn't he have? He didn't have the right infrastructure. Check out the story. It's very interesting. He didn't have the right infrastructure. He didn't have the right team. He didn't have the people in place to say, okay, let's set this up like this right now so that you can continue to build on this so that you won't be in this problem. That's what Amos didn't have. And so I just wanted to pop in here today, guys, for Training Thursday and let you know and encourage you. Don't be like Amos. Because now Amos just famous. And that's it. Because he doesn't own the brand. And unfortunately, you don't want to be a prostitute of your own brand. Right? You don't want anybody sending you out, pimping you to make them money. Because that's what's happening. Right? He's the spokesperson or a brand ambassador for a brand that he doesn't own. They're getting the money. I mean, the only profession that I know that really does that is a pimp. Ina says, that's one reason I'm introducing her exclusive products in her own stores. A lot of work, but I control the headache. Absolutely. Hope says she's going to catch the replay. So again, thank you guys for being here with me. We are going to be doing this every single Thursday. Thursday Lunch and Learn. I encourage you guys to come back, watch the replay. We're going to have some great things going on. But again, don't be like Amos. All right. See you next time.